my heart and what I think is important in life. Because back when I was in high school, everything to me was sports. I was a nut for basketball and football and being the most popular, dating the prettiest girl, that's, like the right clothes, wearing the right clothes, and just anything that would make you fit in, that's what I thought was important. And because of sports, my arrogance level, what I thought of myself was so high. And like you said, I grew up in a Christian home. I went to Bible camp, youth group, Sunday school. But honestly, I doubted there was a God all the time. I had many doubts. And, there was no faith. I didn't have faith just growing up. But on April 6th, 2007, that all changed, all in an instant. I was in a car wreck that day. I was just going into town for a normal, routine checkup on my back, and I lost control of the car. I crashed into a field. I was ejected from the car. I went face first into the field, and that's when everything changed for me. Because that person I thought I was invincible because of sports and how I succeeded in sports up until that point. I was gone. There was nothing left. Everything I had worked for, everything I thought that was important, that was gone. And I lay there in the field, and I remember thinking, what kind of person am I? I know while I'm laying here, these are my last moments. And I started just realizing who I was truly. I was very arrogant and cocky and self-righteous. I pretty much just abandoned my family, honestly, because I put sports, my friends, and girls all ahead of my family, and God wasn't in the equation. And while in the field, it came to a point where I knew I would be gone. And I remember taking what I thought was my last breath, but it wasn't until later in life I had flashbacks of what happened during those few moments. I wish I had time to tell the whole story. I do, but I know we're on a time limit. But during or before that, there was, I had no hope at all, because who's going to find me? I took this back road that no one ever takes except for me, and my parents show up. They found me, and by the grace of God, they found me, and there's only one way that they would take that road, and that's by God leading them there. There is no way that they would take that road ever. They never did. They always take the highway, and I am the only one that takes that road. And from then on, after I did come back, I was transported all through here in Grand Forks, and they just did a bunch of tests to see what was wrong with me, and I had a bruised and bleeding brain. I had a bruise or bleeding from my liver, my lungs, and small intestines, kidneys, and pancreas were all bruised or bleeding. The artery in my right leg was crushed. So if I did live, I would lose, or most likely lose my right leg and parts of my organs. So the chance of me living, first off, was very, very small. But if I did, I would lose everything that was all my body parts. So that was what we were facing at that point. Now, it turned out I didn't lose my right leg. That surgery went so perfect that they saved my leg. I didn't lose any organs. The doctors couldn't put a finger on how my organs had healed so fast, because the tests showed they were bruised or bleeding. But when they opened me up, they weren't bruised or bleeding anymore. So they didn't understand how that was possible. And Unfortunately, though, my lungs collapsed after surgery, and I was gone again. And this time they couldn't get me going, nothing was working, and finally they found a lung specialist in the hospital on that day. That was only in the hospital on that day. He came down, he put chest tubes in me, and I started breathing again. But once again, unfortunately, they said that there would be no way my lungs would not swell up during the next 3 days. They would have to swell up, and therefore I would die. So they gave me less than a 5% chance to survive through the next 3 days. Somehow my lungs never swelled up. Never, not even 1%, not at all. And after that, things just kept going smoothly, and I was rapidly healing at a point where the doctors didn't understand how I was healing so fast. And when I woke up from my coma, that's when my journey of faith began. Now, to make a long story short, honestly, I give myself all the glory once again throughout the next 4 years. I gave all the glory to myself. I said I did it all. But it was after trying to come back to sports to play for 3 years, I finally gave up myself. I gave up sports for something bigger and better that I felt in my heart, but I didn't know what it was. And during camp on my last year at Bible camp, he showed me a glimpse of what it was. And I was urged to share my story like I am right now. And, you know, ever since then, it's just been a journey. It's been going through ups and downs. There's always temptation in the world. In college, there is tons of temptation. And I fell into it. I fell into it hard at some points. But God carried me and brought me out of it every single time. He led me to write a book and to now be a speaker, which is something I never, ever would dream of doing. Because in high school, speech class was my worst enemy. Writing a book, that seems impossible to me. It's just impossible. But it was him through me. He wrote through me. He speaks through me. I couldn't do this without him. And lately, or actually it's 2 weeks ago now, I just started my own Christian clothing brand called Purified. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I never would pick this life. I would never think that I'd be doing what I'm doing right now. But it's a blessing to be able to do what I'm doing. And the one thing I've learned lots of things during the years of my recovery. But one of the biggest things is Christ's love. Like, knowing that he came down from heaven as our king, and he came down here as a human being and was beaten and whipped and spit on and persecuted, and then at the end nailed to a cross for all of us. And he's our king who did that for us. I don't know any other kings that would do that other than Jesus Christ. And that is one of the things that have touched my heart in the past year, just realizing that. It's amazing to know that's our Savior, that's our King, that's who we lean on when we're down. During our dark days, he's always there for us, and he always carries us. And that's the only thing I can hold on to every day and have confidence in. I can't have confidence in myself. I'm honestly pathetic. But with him, you know, I guess I'm okay. You know, he does it for me. You know, I can't do anything without him. So that was my story in a nutshell. But I guess the other parts of the story are in my book. So thanks for listening, guys, and thanks for being here. This is awesome that all you showed up. I mean, considering it is minus 40 out, so.
Ben mentioned his book, and when we're done here tonight, he will have some books over there, and I don't know if you have any money or not, but the book is available. Ben, where can you buy the book if they would like to get a copy and they can't get it tonight?
The U&D bookstore, Ferguson bookstore, Christian bookstore, and Amazon.
All right. So, anyway, you have that opportunity, and it's a good read and a powerful read. So here's what we're going to do right now, people, and this is going to be a little disorganized, but we're going to begin that reading plan right now. I have a few guys that volunteered, and they're going to read you 2 Chronicles 34. And it's going to take about 5